So this next section is about making a healthy change, and then after that there will be a short video about setting goals. The first thing to decide or to consider when you're trying to make a behavior change or to better yourself in some way, shape, or form is to really think about what you think about yourself and what you value the most. Because your thoughts and feelings greatly affect your body, your health, your well-being, and especially your thoughts about yourself. And to consider what kind of, what's really going to motivate you to take care of yourself. There's two ways of thinking about self-esteem, and self-esteem is the opinion that you hold of the worth or value of, well, whole being, mind, and body. And it takes really action to recognize and embrace your inherent worth. Self-acceptance, self-esteem, means that you believe that you have an intrinsic value and you know that you have worth. And we often have an intrinsic motivation. That means that you make that change because you know you want to. Achievement self-esteem means that you need approval or acceptance of others. It could be based upon your appearance, how much money you make, or some other contingency. That makes it a challenge to make healthy behavior change because you're looking for external motivation and extrinsic motivation, and that could be looking for making that positive change because you get reward from someone else. So what do you believe about self-esteem? And self-esteem can be thought of as you have to achieve your value or worth because of earning it. So someone who has more worth or value is someone who has achieved something. This establishes what we see as a variety of prejudices such as racism or sexism because there's superiority or inferiority built into that outlook. If you take the stance that everyone has an inherent value and you have an inherent value, it's always present, it's important for that to make successful change. So if we go back again and think about making your value and worth and your behavior one and the same, it can be really self-defeating. We want to realize that our value is already there, already who we are. So realizing your worth is really an important step towards success. As a level 2 Essential Studies course, we have specific outcomes for this class. And one component is this slide, and this is the basis of the course. So it is develop understanding and practices for personal wellness. And in this course, in a few courses on campus, it is looking at personal wellness as your whole being. It's a holistic approach, and that has to do with the dimensions and the components and the influences. So we're going to look at it toward, and I'll let you know when that happens. We're going to learn about analyzing, understanding, and managing your personal wellness. And so the assignments that are associated with this are developing those skills. And you'll see at the end, we'll do a quick assessment, but this does not, this is the goal of what we're looking at in terms of, and proficient or developing is really, I'm looking for proficient in developing. Exemplary is not the plan, but maybe you are exemplary. The second learning outcome is selected and designed in this course regarding planetary sustainability. So this is looking at understanding the interconnectedness of human and natural world and analyzing how we promote or disrupt the well-being of the human and natural world. And so we'll have some discussion or some opportunities to think about sustainability. So what are you interested in modifying? What would you like to do more of or less of? These are some examples or ideas of what somebody might want to focus on. They might want to have better time management, better sleep, better study habits. Those would be more of. Eat more vegetables, maybe save money. Or less of. Decrease my cigarette smoking. Decrease my alcohol. Maybe, and build muscle should actually be one line, but it looks like it didn't. So sometimes we have things that we want to build into our schedule and some that we want to decrease or have less of. There are a number of models of behavior change, and this means that we are looking at finding ways to take steps to get to an end goal. The trans-theoretical model is a model that has stages of change that can modify or eliminate unhealthy behaviors and adopt new ones. It was designed specifically to promote healthy behavior change. There are 5 constructs. There are the stages of change, identifying where you are in your readiness, processes of change, and that means that you have tools or ways to be successful. A decision balance, meaning that it has to have value to you. You make a choice of doing or not doing. You have the belief of self-efficacy that you can do it. And you address temptations. The 10 processes of change are classified into 2 components. They're cognitive or thought kind of processes and behavioral processes. And you'll see that they have a different role at different points in the change. So in the early stages, when you're either not ready to start, which is pre-contemplation, I'm thinking about it, which is contemplation, and preparation, I'm putting my plan together, you're doing a lot of evaluating about what is the creating awareness or learning about the behavior. 2 is recognizing the emotions that go along with that behavior. That can be really helpful. Self-re-evaluation is about looking at how you feel, creating a new sense of self. Environmental re-evaluation is looking at the impact that you have on others. Social liberation is recognizing the support that you have for your change. When you get in the preparation phase, you're trying to self-liberate. That's making the choice and commitment to do it. Counter conditioning is using substitutes for your behavior. That can be really helpful, especially when you're trying to stop something. Stimulus control is managing your environment. I always think of this as being something, if you like ice cream, don't have it in the house, because you're more likely to eat that ice cream in excess if you always have it available. Now that's not true for everyone, but it's true for some. Helping relationships is looking at the help, support that is going to be available, and reinforcement management is using rewards. And you'll see that rewards are important when you're in the action and maintenance phase. It's important to recognize that behavior change is a process. It's not an event. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start running tomorrow. I'm going to start a planner tomorrow. It is really a process, not something that just do it. And it often takes some tools that will be helpful. And so it's important for people to recognize that you might move back and forth on that stage of change. Decision balance means that it's important to consider what are the advantages and disadvantages of changing, because there are always advantages of not changing and there are disadvantages of not changing. It's just part of making a change, and it's important to do a weighing of that and to be sure that you're seeing it's really advantageous to make that change. Be confident that you can do it. Self-efficacy. Knowing that you have the ability to do it, that's important. That's where we get rid of that word try and we're going to say do. Now you might not be successful, but that's okay. You still want to have a sense of I am going to. We want to remember too that temptation is part of the story. But as you get more accustomed to the new behavior, it becomes easier to say no to temptations. Does that mean that you're never going to slip up? Absolutely not. The self-determination theory of change identifies 3 needs, psychological needs, that support growth, integrity, and wellness. And those 3 are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So this theory identifies that we all want to be responsible for ourselves. We need to have the confidence and ability to make that change, and that there can be a relate connection. How you view your ability to change is identified as looking at a fixed or growth mindset. A fixed mindset means that this is how I am. This is just, there's no way I can make any corrections. Or when you fail, you're a failure. This is a very stagnant place to be, and this is a way of thinking that, I'm just not good at math. I'm just a smoker. I'm just always going to be fill in the blank. That's a fixed mindset. Where we want to move is to be a growth mindset and believe that we can develop, we can change, we have unlimited possibilities, that we can take efforts to develop ourselves. This is a way of looking at life as an opportunity. We learn from what we've done, and that the behavior is not an identity, it's distinct. So if you make a mistake, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that you have a lesson to learn and an adjustment to make. After you reach your goal, we're going to adjust your plan to maintain your accomplishment. But what this takes is a personalized behavior change program. And so the first thing that you identify is, what are my current habits? And that's a step 1, self-assess. So you need to identify what you want to change. And then you identify what you're currently doing. You set a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely goal. We create a commitment. I will do it. It's not I will try. And also a tracker, report, and so forth. Recognizing that when you plan for a behavior, you give yourself the advantage of having the steps in place. It's easier to be consistent. You can start slowly and make incremental progress. It's easier to track if you have a plan, And if you do experience a setback, which undoubtedly we all will, a plan can help you get back on track. Research confirms that if significant people in our lives, maybe family or friends, encourage us to make our own choices, it's much more effective than if they try to manipulate or control our behavior. So looking for support and also helping others will add to your happiness, your health, and your well-being.